Yo, welcome to video number 42. This video is on simplifying expressions by multiplying and dividing the terms. So I've explained terms, expressions, formulae, equations, identities, and simplifying already in different videos. Please do watch the other videos if you haven't already done so and you don't know what those things mean. They are the basics of algebra that you have to understand, the basic terms. I've kept them in there for a few videos. Now, the method that you will use and employ to simplify expressions through multiplication and division is as follows. To multiply letters together, we need to consider writing the letters with powers. That's our mathematical shorthand way of doing things. We may also need to consider the rules of indices. To divide, we need to consider the rules of indices. And to deal with the number bits, we just multiply or divide, just like you normally would. So if we're going to do number one, simplifying this expression here. Now, I mentioned in a previous video we don't use the multiplication symbol because it looks like an X. And it does look like an X here, doesn't it? This doesn't just say 2xy. This says 2 multiplied by y. Okay? And I can't do the curly X's. And if I could, I would. So I'll write it out like this. 2 multiplied by y is actually simplified by getting rid of that. Okay? Simple as that. 2y is how that's written. Okay? And the B question is very similar. When you get a letter next to a letter, it means multiply. So we don't need that multiplication symbol either. And that is just a C. It is as simple as that. It really is. Now, this one, we've got 2z multiplied by 4z. Now, this is where we just deal with the numbers, multiplying them together. 2 multiplies by 4 to give you 8. And then z multiplies by z. To give you what? You got to think of how else you can write z multiplied by z. So I'm just going to separate that one. 2 multiplies by 4 to give you 8. And z multiplies by z. Oops, that's a horrible z. Z multiplies by z to give you z squared. Okay? Z times z is z squared. That's our powers, our understanding of powers coming into play here. Okay, so there is z squared. And again, if you don't understand powers, please go and watch the powers and / indices rules video that I made in the number section. Moving on to question 2, you've got 2p squared multiplied by 5p to the power of 3. Now this is again where we're just going to separate it up. We've got 2 multiplies by 5, that's the number bit times a number bit, that gives you 10. That's going to be the beginning of our answer, or our simplification. We've got p squared multiplied by p cubed. And you can now look at the same base numbers. You've got p and p, and then you've got 2 and 3, and 2 plus 3 is 5 because you're allowed to add the powers. That's our rule there. And again, watch that video of powers from the number section if you don't know what I'm talking about. So p to the power of 5 is the letter bit simplified with our power. Okay, in B we've got 100z and divide it by 5z. Now 100 divides by 5 to give you 20. And then z divides by z to actually just give you 1. Okay, so that would be 20 multiplied by 1 effectively, and that's just an answer then of 20, or 20 divided by 1 I should say, because we're dividing there. So that's just 20. Okay, no matter if you multiplied or divided, you would still end up with the answer of 20, but understanding it's important. We might get z squared there and z there. That would be z to the power of 1, then we'd have to put a z on the end, or z to the power of 5 there and z to the power of 2 there, and then we'd have z to the power of 3 there because we're allowed to subtract the powers. All right, but I decided not to do that for that question for some reason. Now, this is probably why, because I made this one. You've got 16x to the power of 25, and you've got to divide it by, and that's what that line there means, as a fraction, divided by 4x to the power of 21. So again, you just take the number bit and you divide by the number bit. So 16 divides by 4, and that gives you 4. And then you've got x to the power of 25, and then you divide that by x to the power of 21. Okay, now 25, take away 21, because we've got dividing with the same base numbers, is 4, so x to the power of 4. Okay, there you go. 4x to the power of 4 is how you would do one that looks like that. Moving me over, and you will see that there are a couple of rectangles and a couple of questions here in question 3. We've got to find an expression. Get rid of that D there. Find an expression for the area of the blue rectangle. So this is 3x centimeters. This is 5x centimeters. And areas of rectangles is something that crops up quite a lot in the world of algebra, because it's understanding a simple geometry thing, shape thing. Length times width is the thing that you do to work out the area of the rectangle, and the length is 5x, the width is 3x, or the other way around, doesn't matter, and you just do 3 times by 5, which is 15, and you do x times by x, which is x squared. Okay, so there is our answer to that one, 15x squared. There's our expression for the area of the rectangle. It's a very useful thing to be able to do when things get more difficult in the world of algebra, is form that expression. And then the area of the orange rectangle is 42d centimeters squared, and that should have centimeters squared on it there. If they were centimeters, those units, that should be centimeters squared as our units of that answer. Which reminded me, so I'll pop that there. The area of the orange rectangle is 42d centimeters squared. Find the term that represents the length. Okay, well, if this is the width, this is the length, we've got, and it's not to scale at all, we've got 6d centimeters for this one. All right, well, let's think about dividing this time. So 42d is the, what am I saying, the area. Okay, and then we're going to divide that by 6d. And remember what we did that up here in B, so we're going to do, just try and squeeze it in, 42d over 6d. Okay, the d's cancel, 42 divides by 6 to give you 7. Okay, so there you go. That would be the answer to that question, 7 centimeters. All right, if you took 7 centimeters, multiplied it by 6d, you would end up with 42d, wouldn't you? Okay, so that's the answer to that one. I hope all of that makes sense. We're starting to get into the world of algebra and making it a little bit trickier, but I'm giving you 3 different types of questions. So this is simple. This is our simple stuff. This is slightly more complicated, all right? And this one is much more complicated. This one maybe you could consider to be grade 4 stuff, all right? If you are understanding and applying it, you are definitely doing the right things, all right? And these are the sorts of questions that we as teachers would love you all to be able to answer, because they're the ones that really show us that you do understand what it is that we have taught you and you are able to apply it. All right, so please continue to practice. Make sure you click in the link in the description, like, subscribe to videos. I know that's cringeworthy to hear, especially for the students that I'm making this for and know me, but I'm glad you're watching it. All right, even if you're doing it in secret, not telling anyone. Shh, don't tell anyone. All right, I'm doing maths. Yeah, I'm getting better at maths. It's good. I think it's good. Some people won't, but yeah, I think it's cool. Nice one. Cheers, Bear Cubs. See you next time.